Hello everyone, welcome back to Crack Neat Bio. In today's concept clarification session, we're going to discuss one of the most fundamental and interesting topics from Class 11 NCERT, Chapter 2 Biological Classification. This is about the five kingdom classification proposed by R.H. Whittaker. Now you may be wondering, why was there even a need for such a classification system? Well, since the dawn of civilization, humans have always tried to classify living organisms. Initially, this was done not on scientific grounds, but simply to serve human needs for food, shelter, and clothing. Over time, scientists began to ask deeper questions. How do we truly group organisms? What criteria should we use? And that's how the story of classification began to evolve. One of the earliest attempts at a scientific classification was made by Aristotle. He used very simple morphological characters. For instance, he divided plants into trees, shrubs, and herbs, and animals into two groups, those with red blood and those without red blood. Later, during the time of Linnaeus, the two kingdom system of classification was developed, where all plants were grouped into the kingdom Plantae and all animals into the kingdom Animalia. Now, at first, this two kingdom system seemed convenient and easy to understand, but as time went on, it became very clear that this system had major shortcomings. It failed to distinguish between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, unicellular and multicellular organisms, photosynthetic and non photosynthetic organisms. For example, bacteria and cyanobacteria, which are prokaryotic, were grouped along with plants simply because they had a cell wall. Even fungi were placed under plants, although they are heterotrophic and their cell wall is made of chitin, not cellulose. Similarly, unicellular organisms like Chlamydomonas and amoeba were grouped with multicellular organisms, which made no sense. It became obvious that a classification system based only on gross morphology was not sufficient. Scientists realized that it was important to consider more characteristics such as cell structure, the nature of the cell wall, body organization, mode of nutrition, methods of reproduction, habitat, and even evolutionary relationships. Only then could organisms be grouped in a meaningful way. It was in this context that in 1969, R.H. Whittaker proposed a five kingdom classification, which became a turning point in biological classification. According to him, living organisms should be classified into five distinct kingdoms: Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. What made Whittaker's system different was a set of criteria he used. He took into account the cell structure, whether organisms are prokaryotic or eukaryotic, the body organization, whether they are unicellular or multicellular, the mode of nutrition, autotrophic or heterotrophic, methods of reproduction, and also their phylogenetic relationships. In the other words, this system was not just about external appearance, but it reflected a deeper understanding of biology. We begin with the kingdom Monera. This kingdom includes all prokaryotic organisms, that is, organisms which lack a true nucleus, and membrane bound organelles. Their cell wall is non cellulosic, composed of polysaccharides and amino acids. Since the nuclear membrane is absent, the genetic material is not enclosed in the nucleus. Organisms here show a wide variety of nutritional modes. Some are autotrophic, capable of synthesizing their own food either through photosynthesis, like cyanobacteria, or through chemosynthesis. Others are heterotrophic, obtaining food either saprophytically from dead matter or parasitically from other living organisms. Monera, therefore, brings together all prokaryotic life forms, including bacteria and cyanobacteria, and is remarkable for its extensive metabolic diversity. Moving on to Kingdom Protista. This kingdom is like a bridge between the simple Monera and the more complex multicellular organisms. All single-celled eukaryotes are placed here. These organisms have a true nucleus, and other membrane-bound organelles. Some possess a cell wall, while others do not. They may be autotrophic, like Chlamydomonas, or heterotrophic, like amoeba. In fact, some protists, such as Euglena, can even behave as autotrophs in sunlight and as heterotrophs in its absence, showing the flexibility of its kingdom. Members of Protista include a wide range of groups such as diatoms, dinoflagellates, slime molds, and protozoans. Being primarily aquatic, they form an important link to higher forms of life. Then comes kingdom fungi, a kingdom entirely different from plants despite often being confused with them in earlier classifications. Fungi are eukaryotic and mostly multicellular except for a few like yeast. Their cell wall is made of chitin, unlike plants which have cellulose walls. The most important feature of fungi is their mode of nutrition. They are always heterotrophic, they cannot prepare their own food. Some live on dead organic matter and are called saprophytes. Others are parasites living on and harming their hosts. Still others form symbiotic associations such as lichens with algae or mycorrhizae with the roots of higher plants. The body organization is filamentous, consisting of thread-like hyphae that form a network called mycelium. Fungi reproduce vegetatively, asexually by spores, and also sexually, producing structures like oospores, ascospores, or basidiospores. Common examples include mushrooms, molds like rhizopus, yeasts, and even the antibiotic-producing penicillium. Next is kingdom Plantae, which includes all eukaryotic, multicellular, chlorophyll-containing organisms commonly called plants. These organisms are autotrophic, preparing their own food through photosynthesis, and their cell wall is made up of cellulose. Kingdom Plantae is a vast group that includes algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. A special feature of plants is their life cycle, which shows alteration of generations. A diploid sporophytic phase alternates with a haploid gametophytic phase. This variation in the dominance and independence of these phases gives rise to the diversity we see in the plant kingdom. Finally, we come to kingdom Animalia, which includes all eukaryotic, multicellular, heterotrophic organisms that lack a cell wall. They directly or indirectly depend on plants for their food. Their mode of nutrition is holozoic, meaning they ingest food, digest it internally, and absorb nutrients. Animals have definite growth patterns, growing into adults with a fixed shape and size. Higher animals possess elaborate sensory and neuromotor mechanisms that allow them to move actively and respond to their environment. Reproduction in this kingdom is sexual, involving copulation of male and female gametes followed by embryological development. This kingdom includes the vast diversity of animal life, from simple invertebrates to highly evolved vertebrates, including human beings. So, if we summarize, we take a system divided living organisms into 5 logical kingdoms: Monera, the prokaryotes; Protista, the unicellular eukaryotes; fungi, eukaryotic heterotrophs with chitin cell walls; Plantae, multicellular autotrophs with cellulose cell walls; and Animalia, multicellular heterotrophs without cell walls. This was a major improvement over the earlier systems because it's not only considered morphology but also took into account cell structure, nutrition, reproduction, and evolutionary relationships. And that is the essence of the 5 kingdom classification from your NCERT Class 11 Biology. Thank you for watching this session of Crackneat Bio. If you found it useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such clear and detailed explanations straight from your NCERT textbook. See you in the next session.
Crack neat bio. Ace the test and let the world know. From the cells to the stars we'll go. Crack neat bio.